And I'm joined by Nick, Simon, and Kev of the Hot One Too. How you boys doing?
Oh, good,
Great.
mate.
Thanks for having us.
Nah, pleasure. You're mate. Always good to catch up with you guys. So, in a couple of weeks' time, as we stand, on Friday the 14th, you guys will be releasing the Fray, the first offering, as it were, from the forthcoming debut. You've been kind enough to send it across. Dudes, this tune is amazing. Like, when you sent it off, I won't say exactly what I said because I can't air that. But it was very complimentary what I said, and I meant every word. But, Watershed and all that, couldn't say it on air. But, great track, great record. It really felt like a step up from you guys. And obviously, I've had you on at Just Push Play before, so you knew I loved you before. But this feels like a real progression on. Did you change how the songwriting, or did you just feel like you guys have just gelled more as you've done more gigs?
Yeah, I think it's just gelled more. I don't think the writing's changed much. We spent a lot more time because we wrote it sort of during COVID and over Zoom and stuff like that. So we spent a lot more time on it than I think we have previously. But yeah, I think it's just a testament to us actually sort of being a cohesive band and, writing good music and, yeah, putting time and effort and working hard at it.
Yeah, that's it. I feel like as we've been a band for much longer, we get to know each other, we work better together, and it's just the more you go after something, the better you get at it. So we've been doing this a bit longer than we had for the last release, so we hope it's come out a bit better than the last release, and from your kind words, it sounds like it has.
Oh yeah, definitely. That was that thing when I put it on, and I'll do what I call my gym test, and anytime I get a track sent to me, I'll listen to it as I get it sent to me, and then I do my gym test with it, which is as it says on the tin. I chuck in my ears in the gym, and if it's not good enough to power me through the gym, it gets flicked.
Nice.
That's some songs can't because they're a slower track or they're an acoustic track or something like that, and it just doesn't work for that sort of scenario. But when that riff kicked in, I just went, right, okay, that's it.
Time to lift.
It was like dogs out of the gate scenario, and it just felt like that for the whole way through. Do you like I say the big choruses, crunching riffs, just sounded like you guys version 2.0. Really, it sounded fantastic.
Nice, thanks, mate. Appreciate that.
No, we do appreciate that, mate. I think as well we've got a lot of gratitude towards Jake Day at Northacre because he was the one that mixed it. Bibble did all of the recording. The drums got recorded at Northacre, I believe. But yeah, I think he's done a great job in trying to capture what we wanted him to capture. We wanted it to have that big sound. We wanted it to kind of be, a track that if you're hearing the band for the first time, it grabs you, and certainly my own preference when I'm listening to new bands is if it's produced well, generally it grabs my attention. And, we didn't rush the production. It was done, with plenty of time. And I think that shows.
Yeah.
I think it does. Like you say, if you've got, I've seen some of my favorite bands, especially where you guys are at in your career in terms of, rising through the ranks and establishing yourself out there in the world. You hear some bands and you watch them live and they're absolutely brilliant, absolutely stellar. And you hear their demo and it's just been poorly produced and it just takes away everything that everyone else has worked so hard for. So, no, I think you're absolutely right to, like you say, work with the production side of it and get it sounding exactly how you guys want to sort of present yourself.
Absolutely. Well, the music's our product. It's what we love. That's what we do, and we want it to be as good as we can get it. And yeah, as Kev says, us working together with Jake, we've definitely managed that. Or we feel like we've managed that. So
has he done the whole album then?
He has, yeah.
Yeah, we're so excited to get the album released. I mean, we've got a lot happening this year, but if you liked how the Fray was sounding, then there's plenty more of it on the album. So, we're hoping that translates throughout the year. We've got a very busy festival season, very busy gigging wise, just all over the country. So hopefully raise the profile. And then when people do finally check out the product, they've got something kind of half decent to get their teeth stuck into.
Yeah.
Nice. So the album's out at the end of the year. Is that right? November, December time I saw something about?
Yeah, November is coming out, yeah. Absolutely.
November. Nice.
Yeah, however, it's worth mentioning the Fray is it will be the first of a series of singles that we've got coming out. We've got 6 singles coming out over the year. And we've kind of thought it'd be good to have a consistent theme going through. So we've gone with the 7 deadly sins, and that will all unfold as you see it. Each there'll be 6 of them coming out, sort of each representing a sin, with the album being the final sin, as it were, really. And there'll be a load of singles coming out, a load of videos coming out, and loads of merch coming out to support each of these.
Wicked. Sounds like you guys are giving it some, in terms of wanting to have that slightly more conceptual side of it, like you're saying there with the 7 deadly sins. It sounds like it's a lot of work all about to come off this year for you dudes then.
I think as well, like as we said, as Simon said about spending some time writing the music, spent some time with the whole release. Not just the songwriting, the production, but also the artwork. Every single's got its own new piece of artwork. As Nick has just said, there's going to be supporting releases throughout the year. So there's plenty of content. We've got a campaign that's going to support our presence as well as what we're doing on stage. So I think there's a lot of bands, and I think we were guilty of it before we kind of signed with our new management. But we wanted an album out. We just wanted it out, And I don't know whether it was slight bit of vanity on our side to be a band with an album out, but one of the questions that was raised with us is, when we're releasing the album, is it the right time to release it, and who are we releasing it to? And we took some direction on that. It was quite hard for us, I think, as a collective to delay the release because we were so excited about it. But in hindsight, I think it was absolutely the right decision. Especially as we're gaining a little bit of momentum. The gigs are getting busier. People are coming. They're wearing the merch. They're wanting pictures with the band. They're wanting to know a little bit more about us. So it's a really good start. We had a great 2022, and we're just so excited about this year.
It does seem like you guys had a lot of momentum build up since I last spoke to you. I mean, I was lucky to hear you guys pretty early on because you felt kind enough to send some singles into the show, and obviously that's how we got talking. But it seems like I mean, you got a gig coming up at Leo's. Did I see that was coming up at Leo's Lounge? You coming up there, like you say, you got Call the Wild Festival, SOS Fest, which is another great one. Firestorm, they've just changed the name of that this morning, haven't they? What's it now called? 5 Vol, is it?
5 Vol. Yeah, 5 Vol. Yeah.
So you got some great shows lining up, and it does seem to be like that momentum is really starting to carry on. So it does make sense to have those shows, make that impact with the crowd. I mean, I've said it to you before, when you guys opened up at Just Push Play, the amount of people that came to me and said afterwards, dude, where the hell did you find those guys? Like mates from mine from all over the country who, you hadn't sort of explored those areas yet. And and it was like, Lee, you didn't start out the, Just Push Play quietly, did you? And I'm like, no. Where's the fun in that?
Yeah, absolutely.
But go out and make that same impact on other audiences who may not be aware of you yet, then have the album roll out, and then hopefully, like you say, you'll have that, your crowd would have expanded and you'll have more support on release, which is obviously, what you want.
That's it, yeah. Next stop, world domination.
I think that's a good one on the tick list there, Nick. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we mentioned the festivals there. What was the first one to come out of the bag?
I think it was Call of the Wild, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
We've got a few that we're quite close with our management, and we've got some real structure. We've got some goals. We've got some targets that we've set ourselves, and it's a different approach for us. We've specified which ones we want to be part of. We've specifically targeted certain festivals that we feel we fit and that we feel is going to push the brand a little bit more. And we if you'd have told us a year or so ago that we'd have secured what we have off the back of what we'd released, we'd have been absolutely amazed, and to have got the slots that we have got for relatively a very limited back catalogue, I think we've done very, very well.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So I think it's just kind of capitalising on that. Firebolt is a classic one. We managed to jump on a couple of tour dates with Wicked Smile, and we happened to play in Manchester. We were in talks, or say we were in talks. We weren't really. We were, we'd kind of submitted the band to the festival organisers, and we invited them down. And they approached
we heard, didn't we, that they didn't invite bands to play unless they'd seen them live, and so we thought, yeah, we're in Manchester, come along to this.
Yeah, come along. So we put them on a guest list. They came along, and Bev and Stret they were fantastic. They turned up. They came and saw us afterwards, and they said, look, unfortunately, it's such a popular festival. There's no spaces this year, but it's been absolutely amazing to see you. We'll definitely keep you in mind. And then, a few days following that, they got in touch and they said, look, we want to make a slot for you. We're going to call it the Ones to Watch, and we're going to really push to get you guys, in front of some people and create that slot for you, because we felt that, we were blown away by the performance, and that's exactly what we want. We want people to feed off that energy, and they brand it as, face melting rock, don't they? So, naturally, it seemed like we fell into that category. But yeah, it was a really exciting time.
Melted some faces.
So
yeah, I mean, we've been quite lucky with a lot of the stuff we've got. It's a lot about being in the right place at the right time. We've met people as we go along, and that's sort of helped us get into some of these other festivals. So it's
I think as well, to add to it, every opportunity we've been given, whether it's sort of playing midday on a Sunday or whatever slot we've been given, we've played as if we were headlining, Download, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
We gave it our all for everything. It was never, I can't be bothered with this, or, whatever about this gig. Every gig is 110% the best we can play, sort of thing. And I think that's all our opportunities have come from all those little ones that people have seen us play like that, and then given us the opportunity to go climb up the ladder, which has been brilliant.
Go a bit further.
I don't think I've ever seen you guys do anything but what you just said, from, bars and clubs where I've seen you guys play to, trying to think, last time I saw you guys was at Bury Sound. Surely that wasn't the last time I saw you, was it?
Bury Sound or Norwich, wasn't it, probably? Yeah.
Yeah, I think Norwich might have been the last one. But there's just certain things where, you're going to get those gigs where, 4 men and a dog turn up. It's just the way it is, especially at the minute. And when you get a band that still go out and don't get dejected by it, just go out and still go and present themselves to it. You only need that one person in the room at the end of the day.
Yeah,
that one right person in the end, and as long as you're having fun, it don't matter.
That's completely it. Yeah, I mean, we do it because we love doing it, and it's nice to see that people enjoy, can enjoy getting involved as well, and enjoy us enjoying it.
So do you think the Fray is a good stand-in for the rest of the album, or is there some more sort of variations in the sound?
It's pretty balls to the wall, not gonna lie. There's a few different, I mean, that's quite a heavy song. There's some more that sort of lean towards the more classic rock sort of sound. There's a little bit of a ballady number sort of halfway through. But yeah, it's a rock record, and that's what we wanted it to be. So yeah.
It's got some really interesting things in it though as well. Like on one of the tracks called Demon Days, it's almost got like a bit of a rock opera sound to it, kind of towards the end of it. It's like, I can't really explain. It's one of those things that you'll have to wait to hear. But I guess again, going on what Simon said, it's having that time to write something and actually put some thought into it, not just a intro, verse, bridge, chorus, verse 2, bridge, chorus. It's actually got some proper thought behind it. And I'm a massive Wild Hearts fan, and I have been for many years. And I can remember when I first joined the Hot 1-2, they sent me the demos of some of these tracks that are on the album, and I just hearing the riffs thinking, man, this is like so Wild Heartsy. Like I love it. And then I remember saying to Bibble, have you heard this Wild Hearts album? He was like, mate, I haven't really heard much of them. I was like, what? I couldn't believe it that he sent me these demos that actually were so like big sounding with riffs that it was just totally up my street. And to have done that without kind of hearing the influence that I've had, I was just like, wow, you know, that's the influences like that I've listened to all my life. You know, it was kind of like, well, this is almost like the perfect sounding band for me. This is something that, you know, it don't come often, you know,
No,
so I couldn't really believe my luck with that. But yeah, I'm so excited to get it out in the open. But I think, you know, one of the things that we've all kind of agreed is you've just got to be a little bit patient with it all. I'm certainly guilty of running at 110 miles an hour all the time, trying to get things done. And actually, I'm learning. It's a big learning curve for me. Just, you know, pump the brakes. Just, you know, be a bit patient and kind of let it do its thing. You know.
Let
it's
nature
not easy
take
when you're
control.
excited and passionate, though, is it?
And I think that's it, mate. I think, you know, I think that's it. We're all passionate though, but it's just a case that, you know, we show that passion. I like to think we show it live. You know, it's one of the positive things that we do get a lot is, you know, people say, oh, you know, you opened out this festival, or you know, you're kind of playing midway on a Sunday. You know, why aren't you headlining this? And it's like it's just where we are in our career. You know, if
Yeah.
people haven't heard the music, the brand isn't out there as much as it needs to be at this point in time.
Mm.
But you know, it's exciting if people are kind of giving us that feedback initially. What could we be like in a few
Yeah.
years as a headlining band? You know, with production and everything else, you know, it's a really exciting time.
So you're mentioning influences there. You know, you're starting to get to the point now where, for me, just as you know what I do and everything, for me, what I would love to see for you boys in the next year would be a really cool main support slot, like a really cool main support shot tour. Each one of you individually, if you could pick who you were supporting, who would you go with?
I think a lot of us probably have similar answers to this. Normally, when we get the answer asked this question, most of us will say Heat.
Yeah.
Love Heat, absolutely love Heat. Unfortunately, we were due to play with them on a festival last year, but it fell through for some reason. So we still haven't done that, but it's still on the kind of bucket list. But all time, I don't know. I'd love to be involved with this Pantera reunion tour that's sort of happening. That would be awesome. I'm a big Pantera fan. I'm not sure how much that comes through in our music. Obviously, there's some riffs in there and some shredding guitar solos, but yeah. What about you guys?
I think currently I'd love to tour. We've played with them, but it'd be great to tour with them. Florence Black.
Oh yeah.
We played with them in Cannock, I think Shark Fest last year, I think it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd love to play with them. Great guys, and yeah, they've absolutely ballooned in the last couple of years. So
it's crazy where they've gone since. Like, that was the same one I had you guys on, wasn't it? Just Bush Player and
It was, yeah.
Florence Black later on in the day, and you know, to see where they've gone doing stadiums around Europe and everything, and it's just gone mental for them. And you know,
That's it. Yeah, main stage Hellfest as well this year, aren't they?
Yeah, crazy. It's great.
I think for me, if we're talking about kind of current bands, band that I got into quite a long time ago that have just recently started kicking back on the scene is Black Spiders. I actually really like Black Spiders.
Love them.
I was fortunate enough years and years ago to support them in another band that I'd played in. But I think if we're talking about, you know, current bands, it would be Black Spiders. But I'm a big Wild Hearts fan. You know, for me,
Ginger Wildheart's doing Just Push Play this year, mate.
I know, mate. Yeah, I know. You've done well there. You've done very well there.
You have no idea how happy I was when that email came through confirming
I'll
it.
bet you, because I know you're a big Wild Hearts fan as well. So, like,
Nearly spat my tea across the kitchen.
I bet you did.
rock and
But
roll.
no, I mean, it's, you know, it's testament to you and your festival. You know, you've built that. We've seen you build it. You know, we've been fortunate enough to be part of it. And,
Bless
you know, for what it stands for, the hard work you put in, you should stand damn proud, mate, because it's you know, it's a stunning festival.
Thank
So,
you.
you know, credit where it's due, mate. If you've got people like Ginger wanting to play it, then it's down to your hard work.
Well, thank you, guys. That means a lot, especially coming from, you know, guys who played it on the bill. That does mean a lot to me. So thanks, guys. So you're going for Black Spiders or Wild Hearts. Either would be great, to be fair, though, Kev. I've not seen him since they. Have you seen him since they reformed?
I haven't. No,
No,
I haven't. But I've seen a lot on the social media, and I've seen a lot of people talking about them. And yeah, I mean, their first album I absolutely loved. You know, I can't even remember how old I was when it came out. You know, it's quite a while ago now. I'm showing my age, but I've always liked them because of that kind of attitude they've got. You know, that fuck you, Black Spiders, and you know, to see him coming back is great. So I'm interested to see him. I might catch him because they just released a tour, so I might catch him on one of those tour dates.
Yeah, they're touring with Hot Damn in support, aren't they? So that should be
Yeah, that's the one. But I think you're right. You know, I think the next step for us really is to try and get ourselves onto a main support tour, and you know, kind of push quite hard for that. I think, you know, having an album out to support that will be really beneficial.
You mentioned your new management team a lot in the interview, and I know the guys have been helpful out to you. How did that all come to be? Because we've obviously spoke about it previously, but not in too
That
much.
was that came from Sharkfest actually. That Simon mentioned earlier. We were on the bill. I think we may be third on or something.
Was it Shark Fest or was it Mayor's Fest? And then we chatted at Shark Fest.
I think maybe someone was there at Mayor's Fest. Yeah, absolutely right. And they said, Greg, who's our manager, you got to come and see these guys. And I think he came along to Shark Fest. Oh, he did come along to Shark Fest. I think I'm not sure if he was at the. Probably would have been at Mayor's Fest.
Yeah, I think he was. I think he first saw us at Mayor's Fest, and I think that was a 12:30 on a Sunday or something.
Yeah, so, that's it.
And it was literally 4 men and a dog sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then he came along to Shark Fest and sort of had a bit of a boozy conversation. Didn't really think it was going to go kind of anywhere. Sort of like, oh, I've spoken to so and so, and then I think he reached out to Kev and started a conversation, and yeah, it's kind of just snowballed since then, really. But yeah, he's been absolutely fantastic with us, as has everyone that's sort of helped out so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same page, which helps. Yeah. You know, the initial agreement between us and him, we'd never worked with each other, so it was a little bit kind of proceed with caution. You know, he wanted to know that we would put the time and effort in, because it wasn't a management deal that he was going to do everything for us. It was very much, you know, he was going to provide us his expertise and guidance, and it was very much down to us to do the graft, you know. Yeah. And I think we're fortunate that because everybody's so passionate, everybody does their bit, you know, and that makes a massive difference. I've played in a lot of bands where, you know, you're the only one that's pushing, and it becomes very, very difficult to even enjoy it in the end, you know, because you become the one that's the boring one when everybody else wants to go and get pissed, and you're getting pissed off because you've worked hard to get a gig, and then, you know, you get that show and then you fuck it up because people have had a drink, and you know there is an element of resentment that builds up for that. But I do think we've got a really good balance at the moment. We've got a good mix. There's one thing this has taught me, this whole album release campaign, is, you know, I thought I'd been busy in a band before, but this is a whole other level in terms of time consumption. And you know,
I think that's the same for all of us, actually. I mean, most, if not all of us have been in bands before, but I don't think any of us have sort of been to this level before. So it's all kind of new for all of us, really. But I mean, it's exciting as well. It's kind of now all the graft is starting to pay off, and we're starting to see the fruits of our labour. So it's it's quite exciting to see where it's going to go next, really.
Nice. So what was the gestation period, if you like, from when you started recording the album till it was done? I'm assuming it's all locked in the bag now, and that you're just obviously waiting for the release, as you say, building up with your singles. But what was your gestation period of the sort of recording and writing time itself?
It's quite long, actually. Yeah, we started. I think we did the drums and the bass. We went and did it at the studio. Was that just after like first lockdown, or was it even before lockdown?
No, it was after the first lockdown, I think.
Yeah, it was. Stuff started to open up. So Joe and I went over to the studio at Jake's, laid down everything, and then lockdown happened again. So like, okay, we weren't going to do all that. We were still sort of umming and ahhing about what we wanted to do and how we wanted to do the guitars. But in the end, I mean, Kev plays for a Kemper and Manners plays for a Helix. So we kind of really wanted to spend some time playing with getting our own tones and sounds. It's quite easy, especially when you're at the studio and you're on the clock. Sort of time is money. And if you're just fiddling with your tone for sort of 5-6 hours a day, it would get quite expensive. But so we could put that graft and that time in at home to get the guitar sounding how we wanted. And I thought, oh, we might as well record like that. The beauty of those sort of amp profilers is you can do it straight into your computer, really. So, Kev, you came over to mine, didn't you? We started laying down a load of takes on as many songs as we could get through, sort of night after night. Chopped them all up, found all the best bits, and did the same with Manners. And then we went back in. Simon fortunately lives just down the road from Jake, so you went and did a couple of sessions on your own. I went and met you for a couple of sessions. But yeah, I guess it was probably a year in the making, or close to, from start to finish.
Nice.
Yeah, I think as well, like, you know, we've spent a lot of time on sort of the tone of the guitars and stuff like that, but it was also, you know, for the lyric side of things, usually it's been just predominantly Joe and myself writing the lyrics. Whereas this time, because we were, you know, we were literally locked down, we were having these calls like we are now, and we all sort of had a part of writing the lyrics, which is a nice way of, you know, having you know, lyrics. Well, for me, when I sing them, that it's not just something I've just come up with, it's something we've all had like a collective input in. And I feel like that's the same with the whole album has been a collective input. It's not just one of us, it's all of us, which is really nice.
How did you feel about did you find that different in terms of how you were then going to sort of interpret other people's input as such?
I think we sort of, you know, we kind of we had the song ideas. We then sort of kind of listened to the song. What does the song mean to you? We then come together, sort of kind of present each of our ideas, select whichever one we either resonated with us the most or you know, sort of worked with the song the most. And then, you know, some ideas just snowballed and took, you know, no time at all to kind of come together. Others sort of took a little bit more time. And yeah, speaking of writing lyrics,
and he's back in the room. All right, Joe.
Hello, how we doing?
So you didn't tell me Joe was your son, though. Was upstairs, though, Kev, on the drums.
Joe is my son. Yes, that's right.
I'm actually a 11-year-old boy masquerading as a 31-year-old that plays in a wannabe rock group.
Well, you definitely shouldn't have been drinking all that cider at Just Push Play then.
Cider at Just Push Play. Don't know what you're talking about. Didn't deplete your asphalt supply. That was one of the other drummers. Must have been the Hot Damn. Yeah, we tend to get mixed up a lot with those guys.
If you're getting mixed up with Josie, mate, you're not doing too bad, are you? Let's be honest.
How you doing, though, Lee? You keeping well?
I'm all good, buddy. I'm all good.
Good. Where did we get to? I hear we were talking about lyrics just then. I heard snowboarding as well.
Snowballing.
Snowballing. Okay. Yeah, where can I fill in the gaps if needs be?
I was just saying about how sort of it was a unique way of doing the lyric writing where, because we were doing it, all of us kind of collaborating together, you know, it was sort of a different way, but I think a better way in some respects. And just saying how some songs, you know, we took weeks to write and others sit down for an evening and it just fell out.
Yeah, fell into place. I think, yeah, I'm sorry if I'm like repeating anything that's already been said, but I genuinely loved how we approached the lyric writing process this time around, in that I think we bounced off each other a lot. And you know, when you hit that wall, when you're trying to pen a lyric yourself, there was always someone in the Zoom chat that would take that and run with it and give you exactly what you were looking for. So yeah, I think writing in that manner, I think that's probably how we will continue to write the lyrics moving forward, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe at a pub. maybe not on a screen.
Maybe not over a
Yeah.
Zoom call. I'm getting a bit fed up of Zoom calls.
Yeah.
All right, so you didn't have to come tonight.
I'll see myself out.
I know you guys have had some cool things along with the album. So we were talking about singles earlier. You mentioned videos getting done, and I know because we've had chats about it. But you've got to work with Kris Barras on some videos that are coming out. How was that experience? Because I was been chatting to Jack previously, Jack Hutchison on the show. I know he's but with Kris Barras, and yeah, how did that come about with working with him?
So we wanted to get some videos professionally done, and we'd heard that Kris was, a director, a videographer, and for us, we'd taken the decision that we were all going to invest in this release, and financially we've all put in a sum of money, and we just wanted the best. The best for the album initially. So we approached Kris, said, look, this is what we're looking for. This is the demos, and this is the sort of concept that we're looking to do. Are you open to potentially working with us? And I think, I'm not sure if it's just Kris or just certain videographers, but I think it kind of has to fit what they want to do as well.
Yeah.
So, he came back and he was all very positive. He liked the concept, he liked the demo. And we managed to secure him for a couple of music videos. So the Fray, he shot the Fray, and we've also got another one coming out later on in the year, which he's done like a live performance video for us as well. And yeah, I mean, talking, personally, he's very, very professional. We had a good laugh with him. We spent a good 2 solid days with him, went out for dinner with him, picked his brain about the industry and everything. And he was very, very supportive of us.
And in the actual videoing process as well, the filming process, when we were doing the storyboarded shots in particular, very open to bouncing ideas off one another. Like, we'd all chip in, and and again, he wouldn't be afraid to say, no, that's a good idea, or he'd take it and be like, yeah, why didn't I think of that kind of thing? Like, he was very willing to, I think we achieved everything we set out to do with him, and he was just fantastic to work with, just an all-round, very professional, as Kev says, a stand-up guy. We've learned a hell of a lot from him. And yeah, I think I can't wait to actually share the finished product with you guys, because I think Kris has absolutely nailed it. And yeah, I think we achieved what we set out to do with him.
Nice one. The video isn't out for the Fray yet, is it? Or is it?
It's what, sorry?
The video for the Fray, that's not out yet, is it? I'm taking that's coming out single launch day.
Yeah, it's coming out on the 14th with the video with the single. Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a heavy video. I won't say too much about it because I don't want to spoil it. But yeah, the overall experience was great. I went to see him at the Apex because he was at the Apex on his tour.
I know I missed that because that was the night the deer hit my bloody car.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I was supposed to be going down that because I got to interview Kris in promotion to that, and bless his heart, he did put me on the guest list, bless him. After we spoke, and then I had to email him going, I'm really sorry, Kris, this isn't like a wild fantasy story to get out of it. I've paid to see you before, so. But a deer ran into my car this morning, and I've got no way of getting to the gig, which was a shitter. But no, I remember seeing your photos, Kev. It looked like he was absolutely storming it as always.
Oh, it was electric. It was another level. He's a professional. Through and through. Gave us some really good insights. To be fair, every question you want to ask someone that's established, that's got a record deal, that's got themselves to a certain point in their life. You don't get many opportunities where you sat there having something to eat with him, and kind of just mulling over everything, and him being just so open and honest about it all. It very much wasn't, don't ask me about my career, don't ask me about this. I'm here to do a video, and that's what I'm here to do. It wasn't like that at all. It was almost like having a meal with your mate. It was very open. Gave us some decent insights, some good advice. And we've followed that, and we're pushing forward. I mean, we're fortunate that a lot of the festivals we're playing, he's on the same bill.
I say he's on at Firestorm, isn't it? I keep saying Firestorm.
And Call of the Wild. So he's been giving us some some good advice. So I sent him a message the other day about some lighting and stuff that I'm buying, and some of the things that we're kind of bouncing for, maybe future shows later on down the line. He's given me some advice on that, and I mentioned about Call of the Wild and Firebolt, and he said by all means, if we catch each other while we're gigging, it'll be good to have a beer and stuff. So yeah,
nice.
really positive on my side. I think it was for everyone, to be fair.
Yeah, definitely. Really nice guy. Great to work with. Very humble.
Nice one. So how many videos is there total? So did you say there was 3 total across the
2.
We
Two with Kris,
We
yeah.
did 2 with Kris, yeah, and we've got another 4 coming out this year.
We've been busy.
I've heard,
Yeah.
Joe. I've heard, mate. So every single release has also got a video. Then I take. I knew you said there was artwork, but I didn't realise there was a video.
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
That's
like I say,
brilliant.
we're hitting it hard this year. We've made, like I say, we've made an investment because it's what we believe in the product. We believe in what we got.
It's not every it's what's the word I'm looking for. It's not every year you release an album. If you're gonna have one other big one, go large, go hard or go home kind of thing. So I think that's very much our approach on this one. So yeah, just looking forward to, as I say, sharing those videos. Well, all of the videos in their own right are going to be fantastic. But yeah, those 2 in particular, working with Kris was fantastic, as I say. So yeah, you'll see that in when are we? That's coming out on release day as well. On the
14th
couple of Fridays
April.
time. Yeah.
I mean, earlier,
It's here and there. You might see a few teasers on the old social medias, so keep your eyes peeled.
I'm looking forward to seeing how he's done some great videos. Like I say, I've known him to do a few. He's done one for Jack J. Hutchison recently, and that was great. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys have come up with together. I mean, earlier we were talking about support slots and main support slots that so you would like to get on board with. I mean, I think Kris would be a good parent for you, to be honest. Just put it out there.
Yeah, we did try. We did try. It was really honest, but we did try. Yeah,
you'd have to, really, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, he does have. We asked him exactly that question. How much influence have you got in terms of support? And he's got a good team around him that advises him. And ultimately, it's a business. And it's not a case that he doesn't think any of the bands that approach him for tour supports. It's not that he doesn't particularly like them or doesn't feel they could do the job. It's more that it's his brand. He's got to get new faces seeing him, and the supports have got to contribute to bringing those new faces in. And
Yes.
again, you've got to look at where you can't. So as I said, you can't go 100 mile an hour. You've got to be a little bit patient and kind of let that build over time, let that fan base develop, and then later on down the line, when you've got some fan base that do want to see you, that's when it's then becomes a little bit more favourable to get onto a tour like that. But certainly a band at our level where we haven't got an album out at the moment, it's hard for an artist of his caliber to be able to justify to his team, let's put this band on. They might be great live, but actually, who are we bringing in to see him? And that's what it's about.
Yeah, it's like you say, you got to think it's that thing, but it's trying to strike a balance. I mean, it's easier for me because I run mine's a festival, so I've got like 10 bands over the course of the day. If I slip in someone like who people might not be aware of, but I've seen them, and I think, and also I'm in charge, so I can go and put on. But it's different when you're running a festival day where you've got several bands and the opening bands, sometimes bands middle of the thing. I've gone to festivals, and I mean, you were talking about Black Spiders earlier, Kev. The first time I saw them, admittedly it was Download, but first time I saw them, I didn't know who they were. Yeah. I was stumbling about Download drunk. No one was on the main stages that I wanted to see, so I went in the small tent and they were on in there, and that was that. So sometimes you just do need that exposure as well.
Yeah, and I think it's important. Bands do need that opportunity. They need that leg up to get that exposure. But the competition is such a saturated market. For every band that that gets onto a festival, a half decent festival, they'll do it for nothing. They'll even pay to be on it because that they want that opportunity. And it's quite can be really disheartening. When you've put so much into it and you've worked so hard and you get, knockback after knockback, you do end up kind of saying, well, why are we doing this? But you do it because you love it and because it is a passion, and you just keep going. And it's like we said, I think, as going off the back of what Nick said earlier, you know, I think we're getting to a level now that it's new territory for all of us. You know, we've been in a pub band, we've played to like 5 or 10 people every weekend, or even during a week. But now we're playing gigs and they're busy. You know, like we're on bills that, you know, they're selling out. You know, Mayor's Fest, we're playing on the Sunday, that's sold out. You know, we're playing gigs that are, you know, worth playing. Do you know what I mean? Like we're getting in front of some people, and it's really nice as well when you travel, you know, into the Midlands and people are showing up wearing your merch. It's great. It's fantastic. So
No, that is a buzz. That is
yeah,
a buzz.
it really is. It really is. And I think you know, kind of moving forward, we're all just a little bit, you know, excited to see where it could go. You know, this time end of the year when that album is out, it'd be nice to almost catch up again, Lee, and see, you know, kind of, you know, where we are at that point. You know,
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to offer you guys something now. You got the album coming out at the end of the year. Let's have you back on at the end of the year, do a full-on takeover show for the album launch. Keep always back on. We'll have a chat. We'll talk about where you guys are at that point, and we'll play, you know, a few songs from the album, some favourites, and just do a bit of a takeover to give it a proper launch.
That's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, awesome.
Really appreciate that, Lee. That's a really good shout.
No worries, man. I was going, yeah, we'll do that. It'll be fun. It'll be good fun. I've done a few of those, and they're always good fun. But yeah, going back to the merch side thing, that is always a buzz, man. That was at the beginning of the year. I went up to Newcastle to see Clutch. I'm in Newcastle City Hall, and there's a bloke 4 people along, and my mate goes, "Oi, look at him. He's wearing a Just Push Play t-shirt," and I'm going,
"No,
nice.
What?
Awesome.
I know my family in the northeast, but that's not my cousin, so I don't know who the hell he is.
Amazing." Oh man, it's funny you should mention Clutch. Actually, I'm having a bit of a resurgence at the moment of like all the bands I listened to back in my Skater Boy days.
Oh.
Not Skater Boy as in Avril Lavigne, although that is a hell of a song. We're talking like, you know, the Linkin Park, Offspring era, CKY, Clutch, him, and I've just literally gone through Clutch's entire back catalogue. And something I said to Nick the other day was, you know, the Blast Tyrant album. I'm sure that's probably one. Yeah. They're so riff driven, riff heavy, and just these zany lyrics and all that. I'm thinking there's some songs that I'm just thinking maybe we need to go a bit more down that riffy kind of, you know, less is more route. So I said to Nick, I was like, "Can you just let me have a couple of songs on my next album? I'm already getting ahead of myself to album number 2. Can I write some Clutch-esque songs?" And he said, "Yes, I can." So yeah, glad you mentioned Clutch. How were they live, by the way? Because I've never seen them.
You've not seen them live? Oh man, they're fantastic live. Absolutely. But they also had Green Lung supporting them. Have you had them?
I've heard of them.
Green Lung are wicked, yeah.
Green Lung are amazing. Really good. And I don't know if it was because, I mean, I've seen Clutch a few times, so I knew what to expect. Green Lung I hadn't seen live before, and they were on par with Clutch. They really were. They were absolutely brilliant.
I know you're a big Sabbath fan as well, aren't you, Lee? And there's a lot of Sabbath you can hear in Green Lung.
Definitely.
I'm going to stick them on for my drive home from Kev's. So let's go
check out Green Lung. Really, really good band. In fact, another thing was Deggy, Gorilla Riot, mentioned them to me. And he said, "Oh, go check them out." And I went and checked them out, and I was like, "These are brilliant." And then I found out, like, the week before Deggy had mentioned them to me, they were playing in Norwich at the Brickmakers.
Oh, nice.
That's it.
Oh, for fuck's sake. It's like a week late. I'm finding out who they were. But no, yeah, they're great. Go check them out. But no, looks like you guys have got a very busy year ahead, boys.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it though. It kind of feels a little bit like the calm before the storm now, whilst we're gearing up for the first release, and I'm sure once that comes out, that'll be helpful at the end of the year.
I'll tell you what, Lee, when you see us at the after we do this little album like rundown, we return, we might be shells of men. We might be men. What happened, guys? Don't ever release an album. Don't ever try to put out 6 singles. Don't ever try to do 6 videos. It's stupid.
To be fair, it is a bit stupid. I mean, it's a lot. It is a lot. It's not like it's like, you know, a couple of singles and then the album. It's like, let's plan this so that we always have to do something for the next year. You know, it's like there's no respite. It's mental, but I think it's the right thing. You know, I think it's the right thing to do at this point.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off. Yeah, we'll go down that route.
I mean, you're absolutely late, but we are in the age of singles now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Much
we are.
so it seemed like the logical thing to do: get a load of singles out, drip feed the album, then just hit everyone with the finished article all together at the end of the year. So yeah,
That's what Mike Gray did, didn't he? Mike Gray did the same thing with his Shades of Grey album. He released it bit by bit. Scam did a similar thing. They did, the Intravenous album. They released the 2 EPs and then combined them at the end of the year with the Intravenous record. They did, Intra EP and then the Venus EP.
Mm.
A lot of people follow that. So I think it's just like you say, where we are at the minute. And it's where it is working at the minute. It's singles, as much as I'm old and like chucking on me vinyl and just sitting here with a beer and just soaking up some vinyl for a bit, and I'm quite happy. But equally, it is where it is.
Yeah.
Shall I put you down for a pre-order vinyl then, Lee? I don't know if this has been discussed, but
You're doing vinyls for the album.
We're going to do a limited run. Basically, yeah, I don't know how much it's going to be yet, but I'll put you down for one.
Definitely, mate.
Yeah, well, I'll let you know what the crack is as and when we've got it all kind of signed off. But yeah, watch this space. What color would you say, if you could imagine us on colored plastic? What color is the hot one too, Lee?
Yeah, I like the idea of you guys being like a splatter red.
Splatter red.
Okay.
A splatter of red on white or red on black?
Red on black.
Red on black.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
All
right, done. Do you need commission for
that? Yes.
Awesome. You'll be pleasantly surprised now when that turns up in the post and you have actually got red on black on there.
Okay, brilliant.
Awesome. Yeah, no, on a serious note, there will be, I think we are going to do a limited run of vinyls. So yeah, I'll put you down, as I say.
Something similar. That is the Rocket Dolls album.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
So invert that and go for black with the more black than red.
1-2 in the middle rather than the star. Sorry.
Nice.
Cool. Sweet.
Vinyl is pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's something I got back to against lockdown, to be honest, mate. It was like I had a few of my dad's that got bequeathed to me. My mum is not a rock fan, so she didn't want my dad's collection. So it came to me, and yeah, during lockdown, I just decided, I'm finally going to get sorted in having a vinyl player, which we did. And then, yeah, slowly but surely picking up some of my favourite albums. I've sort of left it to my favourites and new favourites sort of thing. There's a lot of Wild Hearts up there, Kev, you'll be pleased.
Is there? Awesome.
Yeah. So, of all the singles that you guys are releasing, though, what ones are you all individually most excited to see people's reaction to, other than the Fray, obviously?
Ooh. Can I go first?
Yeah. Go on.
Only because it's one of my favourite songs to play live. Two, I think the video is going to catch people off guard. We just finished wrapping up the shoot on Friday evening last week. I've got one more day of shooting, actually, that's a lie, but stick with the last Friday. We're pretty much done. It's going to be Is It Hot? Which is going to be, I don't know which release number that is. I want to say it's the third or fourth release. Third. Yeah, we had a lot of fun shooting the video for that. The song itself is pure chaos, organized chaos, frantic, organized chaos, I think. Yeah, that's probably my favorite song on the album. So I'm going to go with that one for me. I'm sorry if I've taken that away from anyone else, but there you go. Got there first. Thank you.
I think that's probably up there for me actually. Close second would be one of the ones that really stuck out for me with this sort of how we've gone about writing the lyrics was a song we've got called "God-Forsaken Blues."
That was the one I was going with.
Sorry, Simon. Yeah, third choice. But yeah, I mean, we all sat around and it's kind of bluesy, but it's kind of heavy. So we're like, what's bluesy about it? We've gone down the theme of Robert Johnson, the guy that's sold his soul to the devil to become the best blues guitarist in the world, which is a pretty awesome concept for a song, really. Once we had that, I mean, there's loads of little sort of bluesy sort of musical references in there. And I think it's a really well put together song. I'm looking forward to to that coming out and seeing what people make of it as well.
Well, you would say that. You wrote it.
Oh, well, I wrote the music.
It's a really well put together song. He says the guy that did all
It's probably the
the
best song ever written.
I think
Simon,
for
what's your
me-
third choice?
Yeah,
Well, I was going God-Forsaken Blues. I think what Demon Days is also I think Kev mentioned it earlier that it's a bit of a rock opera. Sort of, I think it gets away from us sort of halfway through. It's very different, and it's sort of kind of, I'd say, a little bit sort of punky, sort of at its start, but then it just gets a bit epic and just gets a bit out of control. And it kind of fits well with what the song's about as well. So it's hard to pick really which one I'm just looking forward to getting them out really. Can't wait for this year.
I mean, I think for me it is the Fray. The Fray to me, I love the song. I love the hook. I really like the production of the song and the video. And also, the early kind of response we've had from the press release that went out has been really positive. It's a lot of people wanting to playlist it, a lot of people requesting to do some interviews. And it's almost like, you're releasing something of a new, it's your product, isn't it? It's your new product, it's your debut album. This is the first single of the debut album. And, the early indications are that people are enjoying it. And it's exciting that, it's had that impact initially. I mean, you said yourself when we came on the call, you felt like it was a step up for us. So for us to have that initially, and you haven't seen the video yet. So the video's been, like I say, it's been professionally produced. So I'm hoping people are going to go, oh, hold on a minute. Is this the Hot 1-2 that I saw, at the Hunter Club? Is that the same band that, I'm hoping it's going to have that sort of impact.
Do you know what? See it as, for me, I completely agree with you, Kev. A good bit of imagery to go along with this. See the Fray as the spark that lights the fuse for the release strategy. But that spark bangs a little bit when you first light it. That makes a little bit of an aggressive fizz there, and then it's only going to blow up from there. Really,
an aggressive fizz.
An aggressive.
You've got to go down the tagline of the vinyl.
Yeah,
an aggressive fizz.
I think it's a wicked.
I'm going to use that as my review for the album on the radio show socials. Hop on to an aggressive fizz.
I know. In my head, that sounded so much cooler. It's like it's an explosive catalyst. It's the start of a chain reaction. It's like, bang, have the Fray, but FYI,
there's more to come.
There's more to come. I think it's a statement. So I get exactly what you're trying to say there, Kev. I'm with you on that, and it's the lighting of the fuse. So with multiple bangs along the way.
It's like anything, though, isn't it? Like when you release a new album, you've got to showcase, your strongest songs. You need to grab people's attention straight away. And I think what we're all hoping with the Fray is that, it's a balls out rock song, all out rock. It's got a big hook, big chorus, sounds big, and I'm hoping that initial release will be enough to raise some eyebrows. If we can raise some eyebrows and at least get it so that the following release then has a little bit more traction, and then the following release after that has more traction than the last release. I think that's what we're trying to do here, is we're trying to just build that interest so that by the time you get to the end of the year, yes, releasing so many singles is a bit of a bold strategy, because some people, I've had some people say to me, well, what is there to release at the end of the year? You're releasing so much during the year. What's actually coming out at the end of the year? But, there's songs that we're not releasing as singles that I could listen to all day and I still think could be released as singles. They are quite strong songs. So hoping come the end of the year, we've had a good release campaign, and actually people get that album and go, bloody hell, there's still more. you know, there's still more from these guys that they didn't release that actually does sound really good. I'm really excited about it. So yeah, watch this space, as they say.
We did take a long time, didn't we, deciding on what we're going to release as singles. What order we're going to do them? Like,
Oh mate,
I was going to say, how was that? How was
so
that?
many disagreements and like, well,
oh
maybe
mate, it was
we do this, but-
painful. You ask our manager, he was pulling his hair out. He was like, "So have we decided on what the single, what the album order is?"
Nope.
Like, yeah, well, yeah, we met the other night and we had a chat, and he was like, "Right, well, I really need to know for the press releases. I need this information." And we were like, "Okay, we'll definitely come back to you next week."
It changed within the space of a day, and then we'd settle on something again, and it would change again.
And then he'd go, right. So have we got the track listing? Yes, we've got the track listing now. And then we go through it. He'd
By
write
the way, we're changing it.
He'd minute it, and then Joe would go, "Actually, I think we need to just meet in the morning just to confirm." And we were like, "No, we're not going down this route again." Fucking hell.
But yeah, that sort of echoes what Kev's saying. I mean, we all believe in all of the songs on this record so much that if we could release them all as the first song, we think.
Yeah, to be fair, if you guys are arguing over, you know, what's being kept back for the album and what's being sent up as set up as singles, then that just does show how much you guys believe in the songs all as equal, sort of thing. So yeah, that's fair enough.
I think the reality is we probably could have released it in any order, and we'd still be fairly happy. It's just that, you know, you've taken this amount of care and attention up until this point that it seems wrong to rush that decision-making process. And we've got some people that work quite closely with the band. We've got their opinions on the demos. You know, they haven't heard the finished tracks, but they've heard the demos, you know, and they gave us some advice. You know, we put out polls. We said, you know, if you were releasing these demos, which ones would you release? You know, and so we you know, it wasn't just us. We like to include people. You know, we want people to be on this journey with us. You know, and some of our close fans and, you know, friends got involved in that process, and I think that was a real insight to us as well, because some of the ones that we didn't expect would be popular were the popular ones, and some that we were adamant that's got to be the release that wasn't so popular. So it was like, that's really interesting. So it was an eye opener, I think, for all of us.
No, but I mean, you guys, like I say, you've got a hell of a year ahead. You've got obviously the album at the end of the year. You've got the singles leading up to it, all your videos. We're talking about the festival appearances over, like Call of the Wild and Fire Vault and SOS Festival and everything else you guys got lined up. But over the course of the next year, if you could allow yourself one more landmark in your career, one more support slot, a gig, something else to happen, what would you want to happen in the next year? Where would you like to see yourselves this time next year once the album's out?
Or I'd suck dick to play it download. don't
Andy Coppin, if you're listening.
Yeah, don't paraphrase me on that. I would do anything to be on a stage of download, any stage whatsoever next year, and realistic kind of like eventuality as well. I think download isn't out of the question. Eventually, that would be I would die happy playing any stage of download. There you go. That's what I'd say.
I think that's definitely a bucket list for all of us, isn't it? Absolutely.
I think it's quite ambitious for next year, though. To be fair, but
well, the album
you never know.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know. I think how much we've grown in this year, you never know what we could be achieving this time next year. So
you don't know what Joe can do with his
bands
mouth,
on like you say, on the Jaeger stage, on the Rising stage, they've just had the one album out. So
I think we missed that bit. I don't know what you said, Nick. What did you say?
No, it doesn't matter. No, it
right. It does, Nick. It does.
I said you don't know what Joe can do with his mouth either.
What he can achieve with his mouth.
Yeah. He can talk his way into anything.
Quite high, Nick.
Yeah.
I think just going back off what we said earlier, I think for me, the next thing would be a half decent tour support. You know, that would be a next rung of the ladder kind of thing for me personally. I'd like to see us opening out for a half decent band and, you know, getting a little bit more exposure really.
It'd be nice to. I mean, we love playing all the gigs we play around here, but I mean, I'd quite like to explore going into Europe a bit as well, if they'll have us. I mean, we were talking about Florence Black earlier. Look how far they've just bombed it and just gone straight out into Europe this year and played some awesome looking stadium shows.
We had a little taste of it with Copenhagen, didn't we? I'd like a lot more of that, really.
Yeah. That was just before lockdown. We went to Copenhagen to do a little gig. 22 hours we spent there in grand total, and no sleep, lots of drinking.
A minor concussion for Nick as well, but I'll let him explain that. I'm really sorry to be rude, guys. I need to drive home because my dog's on her own. She's been on her own since like 3 o'clock this afternoon. I desperately need to get back and let her out. So I'm going to love you and leave you, but it was nice to join in for the little time that I could. Yeah, Lee, lovely to see you as always. I'll
see you, man.
See you on the next one.
Yeah, see you, dude. Take care, mate.
Cool, right, take it easy, guys.
Cheers, mate.
See you later.
I'm still laughing at Nick, Joe's skills, to be honest. What were you saying there, Nick? If you do, if you end up playing download next year now, I'm going to be really suspicious.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, sorry, I only just got that. Oh dear.
Right. That's what it takes.
Well, he said he was willing to do anything, so
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
he's happy.
It would be amazing, wouldn't it, to get onto a stage like that? Just more than anything, it's the PR that comes with it as well. A lot of these festivals, it's being on being on the poster, and it's people constantly seeing that brand and that name.
Yeah,
I think we've been very fortunate with what we've secured. We've secured some really good festivals in not just the Call of the Wild and the ones that we keep saying, but some of the ones in the venues up and down the country are great. We're playing with some decent bands, and the posters are they're being posted on social media all the time, so people are always seeing that logo, seeing that brand, even if they don't know who we are. They're getting an awareness of what we do from seeing the logo all the time. It's like, well, it's another rock band, another rock festival, and so yeah. I mean, I think I'll say towards the end of the year, fingers crossed, we'll be in a stronger position to perhaps maybe negotiate that tour support and look at what's what. But we're booking into 2024 now already. We've got quite a busy 24, and we're nowhere near started yet. So it's interesting how even just the small things that we have secured have now led on to other things, because people are saying, well, we want these guys, we want them in the year, and managers are working in the right way. They're saying, well, there's a lot of interest around the band at the moment. Do you want to get in now before anybody else? And if you do want to negotiate and talk about where they could play potentially, and we've seen that kind of build up quite significantly. So yes, it's a really exciting time for us.
That's good to hear, boys, and nothing more than you deserve. I say the single's out at the end of January. What the fuck am I on about? 14th of April. So we're going to play that at the beginning of the interview. But what song of yours would you like us to play at the end of the interview?
Bleed on Me, probably. I'm going to go with. That was it's the most recent one up till now. I think that's
Yeah, I think it's a good shout.
Yeah, we'll go with that then. And thanks for chatting to me, guys. Always good to catch up with you boys.
Thanks for having us.
Good to see you, mate.
Hopefully we'll see you at a gig soon.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Look forward to buying you a beer, mate.
Oh, that's kind. I'll definitely come then.
Yeah.
Good to see you, boys.
Nice one. Thanks.
Cheers, Lee.
Thanks, Lee.